A mum has sparked debate online after suggesting there should be a legal document allowing men to opt out of parenting. She said when a woman falls pregnant, she can choose whether to keep the baby or go through an abortion. But a man in the same situation has no such right. He has to accept the woman's decision. Now, she says she reckons men should be able to sign formal paperwork before the baby is 1 month old, stating that he has no desire to be part of the child's life, will never be able to seek access and will not pay any money. And the move of that would be irreversible. So what do you think of that idea?
I think that, firstly, there should be an option to work both ways, because I have a friend who is... he's in a situation where he has been... You know, there's a baby involved. He's been in that baby's life for some years, supporting financially and everything. And then the mother's turned round and said... And, you know, that, unfortunately, there's some mothers out there that like to use the babies as a pawn kind of thing and dangle as a weapon. And so he's been in the life, and now this person is saying, for whatever reason, maybe he's got a girlfriend or he's got a wife, whatever, that, you know, you're not going to have access to your child. So I think that it's a bit harsh if you are a guy that's willingly contributing, you're going to see your child, you're in that child's life, for that child then to be yanked out of your life and you to be told that you can't see that child. I think, you know,
well, because
should that woman sign a piece of paper to say that she can't then dangle that child and use that child as a pawn? Because it should be about the child, not about the parents. And the thing is, people would say, well, you know, he could go to court and fight for it, but that takes a lot. You have to have a lot of money to go to court. It's very hard for a man to... Because, obviously, unfortunately, the law is in the mother's favour. I think it should be total role reversal. If she can sign, then he should be able to sign, and it should be equal rights for both men and women, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I think with the passing of the legal aid bill, it's harder for men to fight for the right to see their children. But what I drew from this was, what about the child? The child's been denied the right, but using this if this piece of paper did pass into law, the child would have their rights removed from them, because every child is born with a right to know who their parents are, both mother and father. So that's been taken away.
Yeah, but I guess what they're saying is that the woman seems to have all the choice. So a woman that gets pregnant and man's thrilled and I really want this baby, she can turn around and say, well, I don't and I'm getting rid of it, and he has no say in it. So this is kind of giving him more of a say, because it also happens where a woman wants to keep the baby and the guy doesn't.
Exactly.
And again,
but there's still a third person in the equation. It's not he says, she says. There's the baby involved. So it's a three-way thing. And I think that in that situation, both parents are capable of being ultra self-centred and ultra selfish without considering the child who's not even born yet. And that child could develop in any way. You know, we don't know, and the child might be perfectly happy never to know who his or her father is, but why deny them that right?
Exactly.
It's a really good point, Janet, because when I was going through my adoption process, we went on a parenting course, and the sole focus of that course was, can you meet the needs of the child? It's not because I want a baby and my husband wants a baby and we want a boy and a girl. It was like, can you meet the needs of that baby? I also think that, you know, if a man signs a piece of paper at that moment, he may not wish to, you know, have any involvement with that child. But what if he changes his mind later on? What if something happens to him and he realises...
But then that's not fair on the child anyway, because I have a friend in that situation who had a child and the father wanted nothing to do with it, and now the child's 5 and all of a sudden he's going, oh, I would like to see it now. And she's like, hold on a minute, you haven't been here for 5 years. You can't just walk in and take the child.
But that's still the needs of the child, though. It's not about her. I think whether she likes it or not, that child has two parents.
No, absolutely.
And if a parent wants
with that,
to,
but
then
he
you
can't
should.
just swan in and do it.
No, you can't just swan in, and I think you have to make arrangements, but still, you shouldn't deny a parent wanting to be a parent.
For me, there should just be a thing that when a baby's born, unless you can prove otherwise, it should be absolutely 50-50, unless there's a real situation where it would be abusive situation or whatever. Because I think you are, at the moment, you can use a child as a weapon, and I see it all the time, and it breaks my heart. And the only person it's damaging is the child.
You're so right. But in the end, it's a bitter pill for women to swallow, but men can do that. They can provide financially during the first 5 years of the child's life, and legally they're allowed visiting every other weekend. I mean, that's enshrined in law unless there's something seriously wrong with the dad. But if that dad doesn't exercise that right to see that child, they can still invoke it later on. And it's tough on women, but you have to allow, as Cyrus said, that the child's interests have got to be first in the line. And it's tough on women because increasingly women are saying, I want this for me, and they're putting themselves first. Well, that's good in some ways, but not so good in others.
I think everybody just needs to think of that poor child
Yes,
and
absolutely.
the future of it.